So I'd like to begin today with a tribute to Walter Freeman. Walter, as many of you will know, was the father of brain dynamics. He passed away this week. He was a professor of neurobiology at Berkeley. But he also was a wonderful friend to all of us, many of us in this international consortium. He literally was one of the most influential thinkers in brain dynamics, how the brain adapts both microscopically in millimeters, couples of thousands of neurons, and at the whole brain level. And he wasn't just a wonderful neuroscientist and a wonderfully interesting person, an influential person, but he helped our consortium very specifically in thinking about the brain as a system. And in this book on integrative neuroscience, in the chapter that he wrote, he drew on the picture that he had on the front cover of Scientific American, which showed a donut of never recurring patterns that captured his insight as to how the brain works in sort of non-linear bursts of dynamics, but is linear most of the time, stable most of the time. But he had another dimension that I think reflected the depth of his thinking, and that is that he was an artist. And in the privileged times that I had where he stayed at my home, he would sit at the edge of my garden and he would paint little paintings, small paintings, one of which he put in the chapter on his book, on this book, in which the title of the chapter is Brain Dynamics, Brain Chaos and Intentionality. Like he would measure thousands of neurons at the same time and yet be able to extrapolate the importance to the whole brain. And I just want to end off by reading to you what he said under this incredible little picture of the hippocampus, the central structure in the brain that is responsible for converting short-term to long-term memory, but also space and many other things that are underestimated about it. He said, the limbic forge, that's the limbic system, this is a surreal representation of the dynamics of the limbic system, which is centered in the hippocampus, which is short Latin for seahorse because it's shaped like a seahorse, which sucks up information from the environment as it controls your eye, ear, nose, and hand movements and inputs. By the dynamics in its action space, in the base of the brain, it creates the patterns of understanding that inform your entire cerebral cortex. These informing patterns provide the windows by which we look into the world and by which we see ourselves peering into our own windows. Walter Freeman is going to be one of those people whose impact will be felt ages from now. I found him an enormous inspiration, as did many I know of you in our consortium, and he will be profoundly missed.